What's that? Who there? Whoa.
Let's shift to the brainstorm. I'm very pumped about this. You seem like you got a million ideas. So let's start here. What's your most favorite idea that excites you right now that if you weren't building Monument, you would immediately start thinking about and researching?
Oh, it's such a good one. I can tell you about some ideas I have in motion, actually. So I told you how I work with founders. Um,
Yeah, let's do
so
it.
there's one I'm doing right now that I'm really, really excited about. Um, Probably not supposed to talk about it, but I'm going to anyway. So I've always loved like the old Defender 90s, like the old Land Rovers, but they're impossible to get, like, or really, really expensive. So I was introduced to this person who he sources the trucks in Europe, and he then ships them to kind of shop in England where they're built to a certain point and then shipped overseas. They meet custom standards. They're shipped in the U.S. and then finishes them up in the shop in Connecticut. And the price, I was like, whoa, that's like really affordable. I was like blown away by it. And then I got the truck and I was like, this is unbelievable. And then I started driving the truck around. Every time I take it out, like, people have tried to trade me their cars. People tried to buy. I mean, it's insane. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, and so I went to him. I'm like, hey, like, I just like, what if we built something, and I didn't know what his margins were or anything, but what I learned about what the margins, the cost is like, it's really not that expensive to kind of get these cars, and they're totally unaccessible. Like here, they're hard to find. But if you do it through his system, you're sourcing them in Europe and you're kind of shipping them over, and then you customize it delivered right to your house. I mean, they're pretty reasonably priced. So, well, right now we're working on this idea where it's kind of phases, right? You have people want to, when they buy, at least what I wanted was, I wanted the experience of the Defender. Like, it's just such a cool car, and like I wanted, like, my car was purchased, I think in either Croatia or Italy, one of those countries. Like, I want a picture of it. Like, I now own this like very old school, like 1994 Land Rover Defender 90 convertible in Italy, and that's really cool. And then, like, I can make that payment, and then it gets shipped over, and it's now in some shop in a shop in England, and we're kind of watching it get built up to standards so it can be put on a boat and then shipped to the United States. And I see, get pictures of that, and I see it ship over, and then it's kind of fine tuned and customized, like, in Connecticut, and then delivered to my house. And then I make that payment. And so we're working on kind of that site right now. And I think it's like a passion project, for me. I think it's going to be an unbelievable business, maybe not venture backable, but I mean, you can own a Defender 90, totally beautifully refurbished truck for the same price as, an affordable car. And yeah, you'll know exactly where to get it. So, it's the technology we're building, and it's all because this person had this kind of operation set up and in place already, and I just came to him with an idea on how to kind of scale it a bit. And yeah, so that's a real one I'm really, really pumped about.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, one thing on that I actually like, obviously the idea with the cars, that sounds like a amazing market, and like the supply and demand dynamics are perfect. One interesting thing I was thinking of is I feel like there's not enough of like opening the hood on the process. Like today, you have no idea the way a car gets made. Like you really don't. Like there's no visibility into the factory or the pieces. Like you can go on a tour, but it's not the same. And so what you're saying, not only would you give visibility into like the factory, but also the entire process, right? Across country when it gets shipped. There's something there that's like very novel that I think people would love that they can't really get
Yeah, I think
today.
it's so cool. It's like, okay, now the speaker system's going in. It's like you see pictures and how it's being put together, and just,
Yeah, that would be
yeah, or
awesome.
like, I even think it's cool to like see the picture of your like car that you purchased. Like, when I first saw the pictures of the car I purchased, I'm like, whoa, like, that looks terrible. How's that going to turn into kind of the pictures, kind of the end state picture? So to kind of like see where it starts, like, this car was purchased in Italy and it was 1994, and then to kind of watch and see where it ends, it's remarkable. Yes,
Yeah, it's like a home remodel. That's why all those
exactly.
people love those
Yeah,
home
it's like a
remodel
home
shows.
remodel, but
Yeah.
yeah, so there's a lot there, but I think that I just I've never driven a car around and had that was affordable like that, and had so many people come up to me trying to buy it or ask me where I got it. Like two times people have tried to trade me their car for my car in a parking lot. It's just unbelievable.
You're like, what do I look like, Vin Diesel? You're not just gonna, you're not just gonna trade on the street. That's
Yeah,
funny.
so
What do you think's the biggest bottleneck of that business? Is it being able to for him to acquire enough of the like core legacy cars in Europe, or is there a constraint?
so that's a good question. I guess I don't really know, and I don't believe he does either because I mean, we sell. I don't know what happens if we sell 1,000 cars in the first day. Like, can he get 1,000 donor cars in Italy? I mean, I just there's always those question marks. I think the kind of operational supply chain is going to be, one of the more challenging pieces to that business because he is running it offline right now without anything systematic. But what this does is it kind of breaks the payments down, so it's like really inexpensive to get started. It's almost like naturally built-in financing. Um, yeah, like a pay-as-you-go model. But it's certainly I think I guess would be operational supply, considering how many people have like asked me or wanted the car when they've seen it. Like I think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to start buying them.
Yeah. What's another one you've got in the hopper?
Oh, I've been so zoned in. I've never been so obsessed with a business like I am with Monument. Like I haven't even
Yeah.
checked my ideal list. I can actually pull it up right now.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Carta for buying homes. I think it's really interesting. It's like there's so many documents and all this stuff all over the place when you buy a home. Yeah, like building something like Carta, what that did for starting a company and really, getting it all in one place there. I think it's like a really cool one. Um,
Have you heard of Atmo? It's either Atmos or Atomus. Atomos. It's almost like you can custom design your home via a site where you pick all the componentry. I think they only do it in Raleigh, North Carolina, or Durham,
really,
but it's really fascinating.
I,
It's not that what you're saying about the documentation, but it's kind of like the custom building.
I have not, but I will check it out. That actually sounds really cool. Um,
Yeah,
Hold on, here's another one I liked. So I collect sports cards and Pokemon cards, and that market's unbelievable. And the way that it works is you have to send the cards in to be graded, and they give quality grading, and that grading will dictate price. And the difference between like a 10 and a 9, on certain cards can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it's the process to get something graded is very like you have to fill out this form manually, and then you have to mail it in. And then I think I mailed them in. It was COVID, so I didn't know where my cards were for like a month, and it's just kind of old school. So I always wanted, I always thought, and I actually started talking to a buddy of mine about it. I'm like, what if like people could just grade it with camera technology, right? And we send them kind of the encasing and they encase it, and rather than send it out, like you're using the camera technology to grade the card. Again, that's one of those ideas of like I don't know if I could build it or not. Like that's some complex stuff, and I don't know the ins and outs of what goes into actually grading that card. But I think there's like, and I could be misquoting this, but I think Americans spend like $4 billion a year on sports cards. Like it's like a huge market, and you really have to like valuable ones like that are in good condition. You have to get them graded, and simplifying that I think is a big opportunity. And then you kind of swing it into like tying it to a marketplace and using the blockchain. I was thinking about like, so now it's graded, now it's stored in the blockchain. Now it's instantly uploaded to my account, and I can then trade from there. And the values are pretty much dictated through the marketplace. So
yeah. What goes into the grading? Is it like literally just the quality of the card? Like, is there damage to it, or like all the cards that we're talking about? There's no damage. There's just another layer to it.
I mean, if a card there's no damage at all, there's no like imperfections, it's a 10, right? That's like the hardest to get. But
Yeah.
maybe there's one little like I have a 6-year-old son. We call him dings. Like I'm like, don't ding it. It'll go
Yeah.
down, and grade will go down.
Yeah.
But one little like white spot in a corner. Oh,
It's like a scuff on your
you're
shoe.
9. And there goes the card like
Yeah.
a Michael Jordan rookie. I mean, forget about it.
There goes 50
Maybe
grand.
more, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
then, some of the older cars, maybe there's like a stain or there's like a crease. And then it goes all the way down from like super damaged cars, right? Which graded a 1 or a 2. Um, So it kind of covers the whole spectrum, but it's just the overall quality of the card, and maybe a card is off centered, right? A lot of the older cards are off centered. So if you have an off centered card, that brings the grading down as well, or you see like a like off center mark, which devalues it. So I think right now, from what I can understand, it's like it's done by a person in like with kind of black latest technology that really does the grading. And I think I always think there's got to be a way to kind of use camera technology or something like that to be able to grade it or allow a person to kind of do it in their home themselves.
Yeah, I would think so too. It's that market's fascinating to me. And I think there's so many people out there that have no idea how big the market is, how much volume in terms of like money and merchandise is being traded between people. It's insane.
The market's on fire. I don't know if it's. I have a couple of theories. Like one, people are more into hobbies now because they're at home. Like so, maybe like collecting is gone up. I think for me, it's like I used to collect as a kid, and now my son's like kind of into it. So I got like really into it again because of him. Um, but yeah, the value of some of the cards, it's remarkable. Yeah, but it's a lot.
Are you guys going on those marketplaces and like buying and in the auctions, or are you more just like buying packs and trying to like figure out if you're getting like the best cards, limited edition, the hard to find ones?
I do a mix of both. Like, um, sometimes I'll take a shot at like a box of cards to get like one card, and I usually never get it, and I'll just end up buying it. But there's something fun about like trying to get it in a box. But sometimes I'll buy through like mostly if I want a card, like I'll just buy through eBay. But sometimes you can meet people, you can network. Like they have the card. There's forums online to kind of like buy through, and I'll even go on Craigslist or like Facebook Marketplace. I mean, yes, I'd be lying if I said I haven't purchased things that have kind of never arrived at home through those sites. But I've also had people I've met that I've gotten cards at great deals. So I'm all over the place with it. I just love the hobby of collecting those cards, and I see the values going the direction they're going. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. There's something about like collecting and having something that other people don't have, and you're just like, oh, like I've been
Yeah.
trying to get that for so long, and you have it, and you have the set, or you have like the whole team, and there's something about that that's
There's like
awesome.
there's a Pokemon card. Like this is total luck. But I was building my son got really into Pokemon cards. I knew nothing about them. I'm like, it'd be fun if we like build a set together. So I do some research, and there's something called like the first edition base set. And essentially it's I think the first edition of Pokemon cards that were distributed in the United States. And it was 102 cards, I think, and we like collected the whole set. It was so much fun. We tried to track down this card, and he's crossing them out as we get him. And there's this one card called it's a Charizard, which is like the most valuable of the Pokemon cards typically. I'm like, this card's like $1,000 at the time. Like this is crazy for a dragon on a card. Like, but it's the last card in the set. I'm doing it. Like, so I found it, bought it. Someone I don't have a 10 grade. I have an 8 grade, but someone has a 10 grade. I sold it for like $300,000 or some crazy
Oh
same
my
thing to
God.
I forget it was like a rapper purchased it, a famous rapper. Uh,
That's
and
insane.
then they started to go for 400, and the price of this card has shot through the roof. I think I've like 10x my investment on the card since I bought it.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so it's again,
That's
it's luck,
crazy.
but the market is just going crazy. So that's one card that I have that I think a lot of people probably are trying to get or want, or like it's just a cool card.
The grading process is kind of crazy. Like the fact that you have to send in your cards and be like, "Oh, I hope they don't get lost in the mail." Like that's absurd, especially
Scary.
when you're talking those
Yeah, I don't
values.
want to like.
Yeah, it's
I
very
have a couple of
scary.
cards like I just don't want to send in. Like I'm just really worried about them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I don't know. I think that's another cool idea out there.